we're fortunate enough that we have a leader at this point in time that has the right vision to get that done. And I'm just excited that the opportunity is coming back around again for St. Mark to do something possible for the community and really take the leadership role that it really should have in the Southwest Media community here. I've been in Atlanta for over 50 years, and I think I mentioned to Reverend that we had an idea of trying to develop this land out here probably about 30 years ago. You can see 30 years from today, still nothing happening. So I'm saying now's the time for us to move forward. And for the folks that are going to lead, let's lead. Folks that are going to hold up progress, let's take a seat and ride. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ruth Davis, the wife of Ken Davis. And we've been members of St. Mark for 41 years. We live in Riverdale. I'm retired from the state of Georgia as a social worker, and I also do consultant work, writing policies and procedures and doing home studies with those who want to adopt. I'm here because I would like to know all about this initiative. Thank you.
My name is John Moses, and I'm here to see what I can provide in terms of assistance to help them reach the goal that they're trying to reach with this development that they're speaking of.
I'm Johnny Moses' wife. He's a retired colonel, and I've traveled with him for 60 years. We've been here at St. Mark for 40 years, and I'm anxious to see what we can do now.
Jimmy Williams, retired, and still working. I'm retired military as well as from the corporate world, Allstate Insurance Company, and currently working part-time as a bailiff, Clayton County. But I've been a part of this church here for over 40 years. And the acreage that we have here, I would very much like to see it developed. When I came here, the land was there. Nothing was being done with it. And since I've been here, we've had, some attention given to it, but we haven't taken the proactive step of making something get done. So tonight I'm interested in seeing what is possibly available for us to get the initiative started. And I had hoped that we would have more people here from the community, because I know a lot of people live in the area. I live in East Point. At one time I lived here at the end of Barge and Stone, and where Stone Road connects. But I had hoped that we would have more people in the immediate area here, because when development takes place, people get interested once they see something started. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Carolyn Williams, and I've been around. I've been in Georgia all my life. I was born in Georgia, but I've been in Atlanta about 40 years, and I've been doing a little this and a little that. Wherever I could be some help, I would work. I'm working, volunteering, but still, I would like to see whatever this development gonna take us and see what we can put together as a community and to make the best of what we can create here.
Hello, my name is Deborah Hutchins. I'm retired. I was in the food industry. I worked between Kroger and Publix for over 33 years. And I too would like to see some improvements in this area, and I'm anxious and excited about the initiative that's coming forward to us to open us up and help us to see things that we haven't seen before. I'd love to see that happen.
Good evening. I'm Ebony Martin. I'm a 20-plus year teacher of the Atlanta Public Schools. I've lived in Ben Hill for 17 years this September. So I'm here just to gain more information to see what we can do. I am an Atlanta native, so excited.
Good evening. My name is Lawrence Poindexter, and I too am excited to see this initiative. And for the young lady right there, I taught in the Atlanta Public School for about 19 years, and I'm a retired educator. However, there are a lot of other things that I still feel God has on my plate to do before I make this transition like we all will do at some point in our lives. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm not Dr. Narvis McPherson, if I can get up. And I'm here because I love St. Mark, and I want to see what the initiative is going to happen to us. And my second reason for being here is I just like to mess with Dr. Hale.
Good evening. My name is Ruby Barber, and I've been at St. Mark 35 plus years. And I am retired now from Sears Roebuck and Company, 37 years, and from the state of Georgia, 34 years. And I'm here because I want to learn. I want to see what's going on in my community, and if there's anything I can do to help. But basically, I'm here to listen and to learn.
Good evening. I'm Linda Eason, and I'm the mother of Gregory Eason Jr. I am a resident of Southwest Atlanta, and I am here in support of the vision and in support of Dr. Hale, who is a dear friend.
Thank you. My name is Gregory Eason, so I'm Gregory's father. And I have lived in Southwest Atlanta all of my time in Atlanta because I was at Morris Brown College in Southwest Atlanta. My apartment was in Southwest Atlanta. And when we returned to Atlanta from pastoring in Savannah in 2004, we bought a house in Southwest Atlanta. So I am certainly interested in what's going on. I am the bishop of the 20th district, but I'm here in support of Dr. Hale and my son. God bless you.
And Brother Keenan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Brother Keenan Hale. I was born in California, but I was raised in Georgia, mostly Conyers, and then traveled all throughout the state alongside my dad here. And I am here because he had first mentioned the development to me a long time ago and wanted to really do a lot of positive work in the community as he has done in many others. And so I bought into the vision. I talked through it with him. I thought it was a great idea, and I wanted to see it come to fruition and to bring all the community partners together so that we can make this happen. And so I'm happy that we do have the people that are here today. I'm excited for all the people that will come into the future.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Faye Floyd, and I serve as the MPUP chair, which stands for the Neighborhood Planning Unit. It is, we're part of the ordinance with the City of Atlanta. So what I do, I serve as like the middle man. I go out into the community. I talk to the community. I have community meetings to find out what is going on in the community, what our needs are, what needs to be improved, and then I have that conversation with our elected officials, the mayor, the chief of staff, in order to bring it into fruition. So this has been a fight. I was excited to see this email about this possibility because one of the things I have been fighting for this past year is to revitalize this area, to clean up this area. We have almost 30 vacant buildings just in this vicinity alone. When I say vicinity alone, I mean Barge Road, Greenbrier Parkway, Hale Road, Arlington Road, which is where the brand new fire station is on Fairburn Road, next to the Masonic Hall, all of those buildings next to the post office. So we have approximately, like I said, almost 30 vacant buildings and strips. But what the community don't realize is majority of those buildings fall under the TAD. So I know you've been hearing a lot about the tax allocated district, and I serve on that board, that advisory board for the Camerton Road corridor. So, and with those TAD, that's conversation for another day, but it's a good thing that those vacant buildings are within the TAD because that's additional funding, different funding that's allocated just for the Camerton Road corridor. So glad that we're looking at this vision because as we fight for new infrastructure, and when I say infrastructure, I'm talking about improve the streets, improve the sewer system, cut back the streets, widen the road, install sidewalks so it's walkable, more friendly, safer, and we need to do better with the MARTA, with the transportation. But in order to do that, we have to revitalize the area. Because when you asking for something, we have to prove that we're utilizing it, including our parks. One of the conversations they told me, we're asking for funding to do more at the park. And they told me, say, well, we judge the park attendance by how much trash is in the trash can. So that's how they know we're not really utilizing our parks in Southwest Atlanta. So that is something that I'm trying to change by working with City Council and our APS representative to start having like movies in the park, jazz in the park, something to bring the community together and start utilizing what we have so we can ask for swimming pools, so we can ask for splash pads, so we can ask for different things in our community for our children and for the community. I am, a little background, I'm too retired, but I don't feel like it. I've been retired 10 years. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I retired from the Center for Disease Control as a public health advisor in 2016. I've been living in this community for over 10 years. I live off Tail Road. If anybody know about Tail Road, you know why I am fighting tooth and nail to clean up this area, and especially that dangerous road of Tail Road. So just looking forward to the conversation. Would like to invite you to our MPU meetings. We meet the first Monday of each month at 7 p.m. and it's virtual. We only meet in person twice. That's in May and that's in September. Otherwise, it's virtual. So please join us. You get to hear from all the city representative departments. You get to address your concerns and hear the issues that's going on in this community. Because I always start off my meeting saying that it doesn't take some of us, it takes all of us to turn this around. So I need all of you to help us make this happen. And thank you for having me.
Pastor Hale.
Well, I appreciate everyone's feedback and input. I tried to take notes on everyone, and I think we have a good group here. And once again, thanks for your time. Thanks for your dedication. Okay, so you could go to the next slide, please. So a few years ago, Nate Jester and I both moved back to the city of Atlanta. I was working for a real estate development company, and Nate was working in real estate law. And we kind of saw that the community that we like didn't change as much as the rest of Atlanta changed, but we benefited so much from the community. And we thought that if there was going to be some things to change, that we might have to change it. Funny thing is, I tell a joke about the ninth wonder of the world. There's 7 wonders of the world. They say the 8th is compound interest, and I say the 9th is Mays High School. At 3450 Benjamin E. Mays Drive, Nate and I both met, and that school also propelled us to the Naval Academy, where we both graduated, and it was a great platform to be able to know who you are, especially as a young black man, but also we have classmates, members of this church that became doctors out of Mays High School. And so we know Southwest Atlanta is great and is a place that can produce the next generations of leaders in Atlanta. And we knew if we can put our minds together with the citizens of the community that, we could help inform great outcomes. I thank my dad for advising us. My dad was a part of a 158 unit condo development while he was pastoring in downtown Atlanta. And he structured that deal so that the church didn't take any risk in the project and the church could receive income to this day. And so he advises us on if the church should develop, meaning that will it further the mission of the church, and also advises us on how the A.M.E. church functions and how to best move forward. So that is our team.
I just wanted to say something really quickly. My name's Nate Jester. I am Greg's business partner. I was born and raised in Southwest Atlanta, in Ben Hill. And so this is it's been really amazing to come back. I really just wanted to thank you all for being here again. Community engagement is really important to us and our business model. You may not know, but this past weekend we had a team of canvassers go out into the community and knock on a few hundred doors in the area, letting people know about this meeting and this project. And just to give y'all a little bit of feedback, the people that they did talk to were interested, wanted to know more about the project, and the canvassers themselves, who are not even from Southwest Atlanta, like to hear about what we are working on, what we're going to present and talk to you all about today. And some of them were even like, please let us know about the next meeting so that we can come, not even in our canvasser capacity, but just to know about a community that's trying to do the work that we're trying to do. So thank you all for being here, and we're looking forward to your questions.
Okay, next slide, please. All right, so once again, our mission is to build sustainable communities. We only work with churches, nonprofits, and community stakeholders. And so we think our efforts are best used in ensuring that positive community outcomes follow, and that that's done with the people who have, put blood, sweat, and tears in the community. I think this church is entering its 128th anniversary, 131st anniversary this year. And that doesn't happen without the dedication and commitment of members who ensure that this church can be here and thrive. So, next slide. And then these are some of our values: community, commitment, and transparency. Once again, we believe that everything should be done in the open and above board. And if you are operating with accountability and integrity, good outcomes follow from that. And so that's essentially who we are. Next slide. And so real estate development, just an overview to level set. We think it's a process where you improve land to create value. And we create value through our business model, and we don't view the value as just monetary. We view value as in outcomes that you can have for your residents, and we'll walk through that near the end of our presentation. Okay, so this is some quick notes on St. Mark's land. And so St. Mark has done a great job of establishing almost 10 acres of land and keeping that over the years. And their campus goes pretty far back and then also runs into the other side of the post office on Fairburn Road. So St. Mark's campus is pretty big. That's what you see here. And as Dr. Floyd mentioned, St. Mark is in the Campbellton Road Tax Allocation District. And so we wanted to show you some conceptual renderings. These aren't architectural renderings. We are working with Stanley Love Stanley Architecture, a long and storied black architect from Northwest Atlanta. And so this is conceptually how the apartments will look. Next slide. This is amphitheater that we like to have for community engagement at the apartments. And once you go to the next slide, we'll give you an overview on our thought process, and then I would like to pause here for feedback so we can know what the community thinks and what the community would like to see before we go into further planning with our architects. So this may appear small on the screen, but we have the church at the bottom right corner. Immediately behind the church's parking lot, we have ingress and egress points to the apartment development. And as you see, we thought that it was very important to have a place for the community to engage. So the amphitheater is an area where we could have had more apartment units, but we think that for the enrichment of the community, that would serve a better use. And so in this site plan, there's 72 units, and we've done a study of the highest yield for a few layouts, and the next iteration up from this plan would be 96 units. And so we'd love to hear, pause here and get your thoughts about this site plan. This is not in the final iteration, but we will be engaging our architects, especially before we continue the formal process with the NPU. And so any feedback here and what you would imagine a real estate development looking like. And then after these slides, I would like to focus on what we call the model community and some of the initiatives that we're starting on the front end with later. So I'll pause here. Could you go back one slide, please?
To the
diagram of St. Mark's.
Is that the
original
amphitheater
land.
that's right behind the church on the right hand side? Is that where the amphitheater would be located?
Yeah. So the church, the way this is laid out, the bottom of the screen is
The church is on the right hand side. Okay.
Yeah. So the bottom of the screen, main thoroughfare, Campbellton Road. The right of the screen is Barge Road. So the church is looking at Barge. So the amphitheater would be to your left.
Okay.
And the apartment complex would be to the left. So at the end of the parking lot, where all of those, like the greenery is, that's St. Mark's land, and it goes back pretty far.
On this diagram, where is the parsonage, the current parsonage?
Yeah, so the current parsonage is not on this diagram. What are your thoughts on that? The current parsonage is not a part of this plan.
Okay, but where would it be in this new?
Oh, so the current parsonage would be to the right side of the screen at the top edge of St. Mark's parking lot.
I was just wondering, what's the amphitheater would consist of? What's all included in that?
Yeah, so the amphitheater would consist of a green area, a mini stage, and then there would be, so that's it. And there would be walking paths around it, and then the apartments would be on both sides. So, one, it's an area where we can have activities where the church can engage with the residents, which we think is a very important part of this development, because in Atlanta we've had affordable housing, and as we know, there was a research study done by the Brookings Institute, and Atlanta has the highest level of childhood poverty. If a child is born in poverty in the city of Atlanta, they only have a 4% chance of escaping. That's the lowest out of any major city in the United States. So we've had affordable housing. The AJC has done studies on like over 270 of the most crime-ridden apartments in Atlanta, and it was found that over 3/4 of those were owned by out-of-state absentee landlords. And so having an owner of real estate that's invested in the outcomes of the residents, we think is the most important piece, more so than, we have a real estate project and then investors get money from it. Because we need positive outcomes in our community. So that's our thought process. I think Dr. Floyd.
Excuse me, I have a few questions. So one of the questions was going to be about the number of units. So I know you specified 72 or either 96. One of the questions that's always a concern is about adequate parking for the residents. So I would like to know about parking ratio per unit. Then also, as you talk about these units, will it be 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms or what? And what is your projected price range? Is this like affordable housing, or is this it's on the tip of my tongue? Yes, or workforce housing or market rate is my question. And then also, they always like to know, what are the amenities? Is it pool? Is it green space? Is it a playground? And then what is the security? Will it be gated? Will it not be? Will it have cameras? So that's always a concern as well. I love the idea of the amphitheater. My question to that would be, would that be open to the community or only for the resident in the church? And the reason I say that, because right across the street from you, behind the daycare, is about to be 130 units. Then next door to that is going to be 80 to 100. So that, since it's in close proximity, would be a question.
Yeah, so to answer the first one, the parking question, this site will be overparked. To do surface parking, a good rule of thumb is you can get 18 units per acre and still have an adequate parking ratio. St. Mark has almost 10 acres of land. So if we taking out the church, let's say 7 acres of land. So if we got up to the highest yield, we would be into the 100 units. So we definitely overpark the site. So we could get up to like 126 units here. A couple of reasons. We want to have actual engagement with the community, that the church and our. You'll see the what some of the enrichment activities we're planning. So we want to be able to attract the students, and also for feasibility, it was better to have a lower unit count as well. And I don't want to go into too much like development talk, but that was one of the reasons. Pricing is interesting. So there is Ben Hill Flats, that's right up Barge Road, and they're done by a market rate developer. And those units price within the workforce housing band. And so that's a new project that's being built, and it's naturally occurring. We imagine a wide range of residents. Simply put, the residents should mirror like what you would have in a normal church setting on Sunday. You can have a millionaire in one pew, someone who's needing a job in the next, and middle class throughout. So we believe that the mixed income model is what we'll have, but the average will be, when we did the math, it'll be around like 80 to 90% A.M.E, and that's kind of what this new market rate development is pricing at. And so that's our thought process. And then security, Brother Ken Davis brought that up on one of our meetings. And so we'll have gated access, and then also with the amount of trees that we naturally have, we'll probably have natural barriers on the on Barge Road via the natural trees that are already there, and the ones that we'll have to replant. And so that's our process thought there. So yes, it will be gated. The amphitheater will not be open to the community because it's on the other side of the gate. But like, let's say this weekend, St. Mark is having a back to school event. That's something that we imagine could happen at the amphitheater. We think stuff like that is the vision, so the community can interact with the church, and we think once that happens, like, positive outcomes will follow. So that's our thought process there. Mm-hmm.
My apologies. I was speaking in reference to the amphitheater because one of the things, we don't have anything right here in this vicinity. So we're wanting to have an area where we can have like food truck Fridays or farmers market Friday, the mobile ones, to offer for the immediate residents right in this community. We have nothing. The closest that we have is like over in Greenbrier area or by Camp Creek Marketplace, but we have nothing along this corridor. And that's what we're trying to change and improve so we can revitalize and offer more to the community. If you think about it, we don't have no sit-down restaurants. We don't have no coffee shops. We don't have any of that right up in this area. So those are the things that we're trying to attract and build.
Did you say all the units would be apartments? I think one of the things that in the black community that we really need to develop is home ownership. Will some of them perhaps be condos or townhomes or something like that people can actually own? Because it seems like communities become stronger when having apartments, I think, is a great thing, but home ownership also is important.
Yeah, we definitely understand that. I view the apartments and I view that as the church, and the church is a black institution. I view that as the church owning something that's multiple. Like if there's 72 units, you have one black institution that has the ability to own 72 apartment units, and then being able to make decisions about that asset, but also those cash flow streams can help further the church. So knowing that housing is important, maybe the mechanism would be like a program here where maybe like say you could host like, hey, if you want to buy a house, maybe these are some steps that you can follow to put yourself in a good position as it relates to credit and stuff like that. But we imagine like the ownership for this is being like the black church owning it. So that's what I imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
Exit and entry.
There's another yes, but there's another street. I'm blanking on it. Yeah, that's gonna be that runs right up to St. Mark's land on the survey. And so, yeah.
But the main entry and exit will be from Barge Road. Am I correct on that? I'm just asking because I was looking at the drawing and someone mentioned the parsonage. I really don't see it being there with, with the units behind it. I'm just being straightforward about it. If I look at the drawing, you're going to enter and exit off of Barge Road. You're going to have a nice facility there behind it because according to code, etc., you're going to have to get rid of probably all of those trees. I hate to say it, on the front of Barge. Am I correct on that? And I know you all have done some study about easements, etc. You're aware that there's one through the property there. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the parsonage will not exist. Am I correct?
Yeah, and
because
this
the
site
parking
plan, yeah.
lot right here, north of the sanctuary building, based on the drawing, the parsonage will not exist. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, that's what this site plan represents.
Okay, right. So, in results, you have these 72 or 76 units there, and then you have the adequate parking for those. And going back, and I think we talked about this once before. You talked to us once before about it. I don't believe residential will give us the adequate income that we would hope to realize in the long run because of the number of residents could possibly be built with adequate space and parking in that particular area. I think you said to us multifamily or apartments, I believe, would probably give us the best benefit. And that's what you're going on now. But parsonage will not exist. Okay. And is there a problem with that easement that goes through there?
Yeah, there's a utility easement that runs through the site. Also, St. Mark doesn't own
strip,
that area where the easement runs.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a natural, it kind of works. That's Believers Bible Church owns that. And to, like, even if you wanted to purchase it, because the easement is there, it wouldn't be worth like purchasing it. So it kind of works out.
Okay, so
in
the
a way.
easement would not be a problem for us.
No.
Okay.
That being said, it does run through the site. So most easements, you go through a planning process with the city, and then like attorneys determine like what rights those specific easements have. And so the easement might say you can't do these three things, but you can have these four things. Um, that being said, this plan doesn't encroach on the easements.
Okay. One other thing, and I'll be finished. If I'm correct, there's also rainwater runoff through there. There's a pipe that I can stand up in there, and I'm pretty sure you all have looked at that. Would that be a problem for us in the construction of the 76 or 72 units you mentioned?
Yeah, so the site plan takes into account making what you have is you have a surface that's pervious, and you change it to impervious. Like you can rain on dirt all day, but once you rain on concrete, that's what creates floods because the water can't go anywhere. And so the site plan and civil engineers, they typically create natural slants on your terrain to be able to direct that water to tie in with a stormwater system that the city already has near the site. So if you could stand on top of a pipe where water goes into, that's probably most likely that's the stormwater. That pipe is connected to the city's stormwater system.
Okay, I just thought I'd mention it because the pipe that I'm talking about has collapsed.
Okay.
Pipe that I'm talking about, not the drain water that comes from the street behind where we can enter our property. There is a drain water line there too, but there's a collapsed pipe directly behind the parsonage over there. So just thought I'd mention that.
That's good to know. Is there any? Oh, also we have 6 minutes left, and I know on the information link I sent out, I asked about dietary needs. So we do have some food. If we could move on to the remainder, and then keep your questions because those are good questions. We want St. Mark to establish a standard for what we call the model community. There's a couple of different things that come to mind. I would like to get your thoughts at the end. But one of the things, a model community is where someone has more responsibility for your neighbor's condition, or simply put, looking out for your neighbor. But since we're in a church, we can go to the Bible and say being your neighbor's keeper. So having a genuine concern for your neighbor is a part of this development thought process. And next slide. We have 3 sets of enrichment programs that we've already communicated with vendors for. Number 1 is Securing Degrees. It's a scholarship coaching program led by an awesome young lady. Her name is Victoria Lamar. She's been on TV. She got a ton of scholarships while she was in high school. Got so many scholarships that when she went to college, she was basically paid to go to college. And she created this company to help other students be able to get through college without debt. We know college is great. We also know that if you do college and you have debt, it can be debilitating. So that this kind of biblical principle is like not just life, but more abundantly. So what's the most abundant way we can help our students get through college, but also come out with a lower debt burden? So next slide. She created a program. I asked her to do it off of the 12-week APS calendar so that this could be done in conjunction with the school year. 12 weeks in the fall, 12 weeks in the spring. And if this isn't well suited for the APS calendar year, we can always shift the spring session to the summer. And we imagine this will be on-site, engaging with our students weekly as a part of a touch point each week. And we want to have high touch points with the residents. And a good part of this community meeting is one of the things we need is people who would be willing to come and interact with the residents every day of the week. And so that's one of the enrichment activities. Next slide. So we believe that a lot of our students are very creative, but Atlanta Public Schools and I think schools in general haven't kept up the same amount of investment in the music programs that they've had back in the day. Sadly, if you look at a video of May's high school marching band from when Nate and I were there and you look at it today, it's just the quality just isn't the same. But we know we still have gifted youth. And so Crystal Adams started a girl band, and she also has a series of musicians that she does live events with, and they would come here to do music lessons with students as another touch point during the week. And so that would be the second touch point. And next slide. And so my wife heard me getting all of this together, and she's an attorney during the daytime, just like Nate. But as you see in this picture, you can't tell if I have on a belt because that's a white belt picture, and that's how far I still am with karate. The belt's still white. But her belt is black, and so she is a third-degree black belt. And she said, well, I could offer to do, she's a certified trained karate, because when you become a black belt, you have to teach. And so she's a certified teacher of a specific type of Japanese karate that I can't think of off the top of my head. But she offered to teach self-defense one time a week. So that would be the third touch point. And all of these separate touch points still don't create the full community that we need for the residents. This will only be 24 weeks of programming, so we would still need the remainder of the year to be met with programming. So as we know, like most affordable housing has happened, and they do affordable housing, and they want to tell people, like no one wants to be told how to spend their money. No one wants to be told all of that stuff. So like we want to treat the residents just like we would want our kids treated, and we want them to have the same opportunities because we see the residents as people just like us. So we want to humanize people. We don't want to like make them feel less than. And so knowing that, we kind of have, well, we do have 3 points of contact. We would definitely need more throughout the year. And so while we go through this process, I think my information, Nate's information, was on the flyer. But if you would like to have any ministry or community enrichment activity, please reach out to me, and also reach out to Pastor Hale. that is going to be a huge need for this real estate development. And so that being said, do we have any more questions? I know we're at 8 on the dot, and we have some food, and it's subs, so don't get too excited. I know. I grew up with I know people that like a hot meal every meal, so that's if you're that type of person, I'm right there with you. So, but we do have food.
I'm not sure if you answered the question or not. I may have missed it, and I apologize. When we were discussing the units, did you specify if there be 1, 2, or 3 bedrooms?
Yeah, so we will have at least 20% of the units be 3 bedrooms. Our architect ran, because we were serious about community engagement, our architect did a plan where all the units would be 3 bedrooms, but that's just not, that's a lot. So that's just not like typical for development. But we do need families. And so like a normal development, they're going to be mostly studios, 1 beds, 2 beds. There's some developments that only go up to 2 beds. Here, we've made it a note that we're gonna have way more 3 bedrooms than you would have on a typical site plan. So we probably will have just as many 3 bedrooms as like a 200 unit apartment development would have, and that's because we need to strengthen like the family unit and however that looks. And so if we only have like studios and 1 bedrooms, we just wouldn't be able to meet that mission.
Can I follow up on that same question? Because studio, if you're looking at family, that's really not going to give us even close to getting families in there. I look at a studio itself, it could be a kitchen and eat-in area and sleeping area in the same big open area. So there will be studios included in there. You know, I was thinking we were talking at least 1, 2, and as was said, 3 bedrooms.
No, we don't have any studios.
Do
we
not
haven't had any studios, yeah, on any iterations of our site plan. So no studios.
Okay.
The lowest would be 1 bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, no studios.
Okay. Thank you.
Will the 1 bedroom be similar to a studio, or it's totally different?
Yeah, so big picture, studio, you basically are probably cutting, if a 1 bedroom is like 600 to 700 units, your studio is a way to get like similar rent, but you're only using like maybe 400 square feet, 500 square feet, and then you don't have there's no partition between where you sleep and where you eat in the living room. And so the 1 bedrooms will have a door that separates them from the kitchen and the living area. The studios, just typically, you might have a sliding door, and in the studio, you might not have a proper closet. So the 1 bedrooms differ from that way.
So the apartment units, the more bedrooms you have, the more costly it would be. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so the more bedrooms, more it costs. But also the more it costs to build as well. And so that kind of represents, like, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but in a 1 bedroom, you're only going to have 1 bathroom, and a lot of your costs comes from the plumbing and the electrical that you're servicing to your bathrooms specifically. Because, your bathrooms, you're going to need some ventilation. Praise the Lord for that. Yeah. And then you're going to have at least 2 bathrooms for your 3-bedroom unit, and then you probably will have a double vanity for like the main bedroom for the 3-bedroom, because you're probably going to have a couple there, or some situation where 2 people are going to be using that same restroom every day. And so that's what increases your cost, is your kitchens and your bathrooms, all the plumbing that are associated with that electrical stuff.
Put a price on the units that to let us know ahead of time of what we so we can prepare for it.
Yeah.
Like give us a price on them. 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom.
Yeah. So, just to go over square footage, off the top of my head, I think the 3 bedrooms we had were about 12 to 1,400 square feet. I have to revisit the site plans, and that's a pretty big unit, especially when you're thinking about flat. You could have a 2-story house that's about 1,700 square feet. And then the 1 bedrooms were around 700, and then 2 bedrooms were like 950, just under 1,000. And so that size is just driven by like how apartments are normally built, but also the 3-bedroom units, 1,200, 1,300 square feet. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's flat, it's pretty spacious. And yeah, I'll make sure, like at the next set of meetings, to bring that like each plan, so you could see how it's laid out.
Just have one final comment. And I'll send you the link where you can submit and come to our MPUP meeting and provide this presentation, because we have
Okay.
like 80 plus people on the call. So we always have a nice amount of people, and they live in the vicinity that will be directly impacted. So I will send you that link so you can complete it and then attend one of our meetings and conduct this presentation and allow for Q&A, okay?
Okay, that'll be awesome. Excited. And so, if there are not any questions, thank you for your time. If you did anyone not get a chance to fill out the link? Just making sure I know everyone. I think also, remind me, what's your name? I have you as retired CAU educator. Find a way to make one. That's what I put. Dr. Daryl Brooks. Okay, you're the only name. Groves. Daryl Groves. You're the only name that I wasn't able to write down. Yeah, did you fill out a link? Okay. And I think I have you as Caroline Williams. Okay. All right. Yeah. So if I'll just get your information afterwards, so I can make sure I follow up.
Question. Could that be in employment provided for for tenants that might be interested in work to help
housing?
That's a good question. I think about that because one of the things we have to figure out is what's the best way that we can provide consistent touch points with the youth, knowing that like having a volunteer force to do something 5 days a week, that's just like really tough. And so that is something that we'll think about. The hardest part about development is the cost of your like your payroll costs, and so development budgets are really sensitive to that. But you know, we're in church. God could make a way. Like we could figure something out. Like I'm not saying that it can't happen. Just that's it. But you know, 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread happened before, so we could figure it out. Yeah. Yep.
I said I was going to ask another question, but I'd like to know if you have gotten beyond or if there are any concerns regarding special use permit or zoning, etc. See, right now, the church, as you know, operate as a church based on a special use permit. This is all residential here, as you know. And is there any concern regarding the development that you found out if we're talking about multi-story buildings for that area?
Yeah. One of the things that I feel confident about is every year, well, every election year, when the elected officials come by here and ask for your vote, you all graciously let them talk. And so, one of the great things also about being in the A.M.E. church is we also no churches out here alone. And so, we believe that the community and the city will recognize the work that the A.M.E. church has done for a long time, and will recognize the mission. And everyone else gets to develop things. And so we believe that it should just be a simple, like it won't be simple, but it should be. You shouldn't get much pushback when the church decides that they want to do something in the community. Now, if there is pushback, that's why we have a connection, and we can have 2 or 3 churches touch and agree. We can have other things happen but I think the city can recognize that the A.M.E. Church has played a very important role in America and the city. And I don't think we'll have any reasons that we'll get like pushback there.
That we here at St. Mark put forth our effort to make the surrounding residents aware of what's planned for the property. I've gone to zoning, review meetings and boards, actually been there in support, against, and et cetera, years ago. So I know how that can go, and whatever we can do positively, like I said, I wish we had more residents in the immediate area here tonight, because that can really get heated. And thanks to the NPUs, they help out tremendously. So just was wondering if you had talked to anyone regarding, do we have to get it rezoned for the multi-story?
Yeah, we 100% have to get it rezoned. Yeah.
Okay.
But we canvassed over 300 houses in this vicinity. And so Nate said that people were interested. It's just hard to get people out to events. But we can continue to canvass and make phone calls. But we believe like when this goes before a city council for a vote, we feel very good about that getting approved. We shouldn't have any issues there. Prayerfully, we shouldn't have any issues there. Okay, do Do you have any last words, Pastor Hale?
Let me say thank you to all of you who came out and thought it not robbery to share in this community setting. It's vital that as advocates and in what's the word I want to use, committed members of this community to to avail yourself of the information that's coming forth, so that you one can ask great questions like you did tonight, but at the same time that you can be informed of what's happening in and around you. For instance, my two sisters here who live in the high rise, you know that there's a lot of GDOT development that's going to be taking place that's going to affect your lifestyle. And so then the other two housing development project that's going to be coming online here shortly is going to affect our lifestyle as a church community. And so we want to be very well abreast of what's happening, so that nothing can catch us off guard, and that we can direct our questions to the appropriate parties, such as our MPU representative, both Dr. Floyd and Brother Dr. Groves over here, who's a representative for St. Mark. And so I thank you for coming out, and even my sister from Providence, who's on loan now. But that's the way we educate ourselves, and that's by being present. By being present. My prayer is that as you leave out of here, that you will talk to your neighbors and your church family members and inform them of the NPU calendar. And so when you see their agenda and that Cascade Centennial will be presenting at that particular time, that they can come via Zoom and they can have their questions answered as well. And so it's going to take all of us working together to accomplish this. But I thank you for the questions that you lifted up. And some of you probably have some questions that you're entertaining right now, but you didn't get a mic and didn't bring it forward. But there will be time going forward where we'll be able to entertain those questions, Greg and Nate, as well as Dr. Floyd. So don't consider this a one-off, but just the beginning of a process, and it's a lengthy process. And so let me thank you for taking time out of your schedule on tonight, coming out. Many of you have been at work. Some of you are, like I said, been doing honey-do lists and all those types of things. But you thought it not robbery to come and listen to these two young men. One thing, let me say this and I get out of the way. What I'm ecstatically excited about is these two young African American men who, when you heard their credentials, that's enough right there for me to say, you know what, I'm getting behind these guys. Because we so often in our churches give our money to that Eurocentric looking person, and we don't give it a second thought. But now when we have an opportunity to align ourselves with young, positive, well-educated African-American brothers, I think we owe it to ourselves and to our community to support the endeavors that they are pushing forward. And I'm not just talking from a St. Mark perspective, but I'm saying whenever we see this type of leadership, that ought to raise something up on the inside of us and say, you know what, let me do my part to support and undergird them. And if we want to see change in this Ben Hill community, then that means that all of us have to be the change agent. Because we can't expect no one to come in here and save us. I sat with Dr. Floyd on, what was that, Tuesday? Was it Tuesday you and I sat? It may have been Wednesday afternoon, but Tuesday. And I mean, there's a litany of things that need to be addressed in this community. And here we are, have one of the most prime location to make a difference. But if we're going to make a difference, we have to be the change agent. And that means that we have to do the work. We have to put in the work. We have to come alongside. So one of the things that the pastor is attempting to do here is build relationships with our MPU. And so make sure that we are present and accounted for. And so this is just this project is just another opportunity for us to be present and accounted for. But again, thank you for your attention and your diligence on tonight. And I'm glad to be your pastor.